Hello guys, what's up? It's me again. Yeah, I haven't uploaded in ages. My project is really, quite time consuming. And it's also very interesting. But anyway, I'm not here to make excuses. I know I'd said that I'd do stuff more often, and I am right, I will be doing that, but I have a lot of stuff in my own life to do as well. Anyway, I don't want to get too deep because, like, I mean, I'm sure no one asked. So anyway, let's get into this video. This one's a bit different than the ones I've done before. This is going to be using Blockbench to, well, I don't want to say its fullest extent. I'm not particularly the most amazing, but I've made some pretty interesting stuff like this one, which has animated textures. It's a bit fast. Oh, wait. Yeah, so in this video, I'll be showing you how to use Blockbench pretty effectively. So, you want to make something like this that looks good, feels good, and just genuinely looks nice for a sword and stuff. I am right here to teach you. Okay, so let's make a new. So there are a couple different ways to actually get started, and I find one of the hardest ways to actually start with one of these is to just do it off your head and to just come up with the idea on your own. Like, this is what I came up with on my own. I mean, it's got animated textures, and this top part looks okay, but the bottom is horrible. I just find it really hard to come up with ideas myself and just do them myself. So what I do is quite cheeky. So with this Greatstone sword, I found this on a site. So with this sword, I actually have not came up with this completely my own, so it's not completely my design. But it's enough of my design to not get copyrighted, because I'm going to be using this publicly. That may be a very vivid hint to what I'm doing. Anyway, this right here is what I based it off. The Moonlight Greatsword which was also based off Elden Ring. So, let's have a look here. So, look at this bit here. You see this? That's this bit. So, this is literally... So, this data pack is downloadable. I don't encourage completely ripping off everyone's design. It's not cool. But if you're going to change enough about it that it just doesn't look like this, like the animated texture is not included, and I've completely reworked the original texture. So I mean, it's completely different. So I mean, you can't really sue someone for the model of a sword. You can only sue them if it's like exactly the same thing. But anyway, let's just say you just want to make some just for fun as well. Like, it doesn't really matter. But if, like, you try to make it for fun and then you do a YouTube video on it, you could still get copyrighted because it's still technically public. So, yeah, you might want to watch out for that. So this is literally just that. And I've just retextured all of the models. Like, all of the modeled cubes. There's 23 cubes in total on this. You can add cubes and take them away if you don't like them. I encourage that. I very much encourage that. If I move this out the way, it looks really weird. Okay, I'm gonna put that back. However, if you just can't come up with a design, but you see a sword that you really like, you can't just blatantly copy it, but you can change the texture. That's what you can do. And that's what I've done here. So I'm going to be showing you basically how to replicate something like this. Alright, so discard because I didn't actually do anything with that. So these are all the things I've been working on. Some of them have been done ages and ages ago. Anyway, Moonlight here. This is the original weapon. So these two, like the animated texture and everything. I'm not going to be blatantly copying. So just so that I don't get copyrighted, shout out to Kindred. This is her YouTube channel. She makes a lot of awesome stuff like this. And this, oh wow, yeah, that's new. Ultimate Netherite Sword, nice. Although, the one thing that I've just hated... You didn't just... Sorry, this part's an Elden Ring meme, but... Anyway. The one thing that I just don't like about these is that they're data packs, and data packs genuinely take up so much space on the servers, it's not even funny. But a plugin with all of this same stuff could take up barely, like, absolutely no space at all. That's just what I don't like about it. But that's just my opinion, and no one really cares about my opinion, do they? Anyway, so shout out to Kindred 408 for making the actual weapons and stuff. And let's get into actually doing this. Alright, so you can copy what I'm doing by downloading the resource pack, sorry. You don't bother with the data pack unless you actually want it. Just download the resource pack. When you have downloaded the resource pack, my computer's pretty good, so this won't take long. You go in, when you open it up, you might have to unzip it to take stuff out, but you can go into Assets, Minecraft, Optifine, CIT, and the actual model is here. This is the actual sword. If you want it to have Optifine lighting, you can copy this as well. But this is the actual model file, so you will need this to actually get the same model that I'm using here. And the textures are located here. Non-items in just item. So the lights.png is actually what this animated texture is. This is the lights.png file. And the actual thing for this, I think I've actually taken it out. No, it's here. Moonlight. So this is the actual texture pack thing. I love how she formats it. It's just so easy to edit, and it's just great. But yeah, you just copy paste that, and if you know how to use resource pack stuff, or you know how to import stuff, so like, okay, let's say you don't know how to do any of this stuff. So you're going to Optifine CIT, you find here, Moonlight. So this is the model you want. Take this out. Holy crap, I'll have to blur all that. That's fine. Hold on, I know what to do. Never mind. Okay, so you take this. So in the actual editor, I'm just putting up a new tab. You click Open Model. You navigate to where that actual file is. This is the file. Double click it, and it pulls up the same thing right here. Of course, it won't have the textures and all that equipped. This is just because I've already modified it, and it's pretty smart. And it was in the other file, so it just put me back here. And then to put the textures in, click Import Textures, and moonlight.png. And if there is the lights, yeah, the lights.png as well. So these two are to be imported. Click Open, and they're in. So once you've done all that, you can select this. So doing this will select all the cubes. So I'm just going to assume that you don't know much about Blockbench and you're here just for like ideas and maybe just starting to get into it. So how it works is this button here adds a cube to the model. Now it may look like this is giant, but it's actually really not. This is quite small. The way she's done it is because when you make an item in Minecraft, it has a height limit. So it cannot go past this height. So if you're trying to make an actual a realistic longsword, it's not going to work. Like, you can do that, but I mean, it's really difficult to do that and it takes up a lot of time. So if you just make it a mini version of what you actually want, then you can scale it up with the scale settings. Anyway, the only reason why this is so huge is because it's being scaled along with this, because it's still in the same model. In the actual thing, without scaling this at all, it won't be very big at all, so keep that in mind. So to select all the other cubes that are not these invisible ones here, we are going to be clicking the folders and then hold Control left click, and then we've got them both selected. So we'll come down here where these two things aren't, right click on the model at the bottom part here, texture, and moonlight.png. And this is her exact sword. It won't like look as glowy and cool as her one because it's not been imported into Minecraft using Optifine yet. But this is the default look, and if you want to play the animated texture, there's a button just down here. If you want to slow it down a little, you can click the FPS and change the frame time to 3 or something. The higher it goes, the slower it is. 3 is how it's supposed to go. So in the actual game, it will go like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then stop for a while. And then it will go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then stop for a while. But that's configurable, so you can't really do that in Blockbench. So anyway, now you're thinking, great, we have the exact same thing that this other person made. How do we make it our own? Well, first of all, if you want an animated texture, I recommend making one yourself. I will make a tutorial on that as well. But for now, we're just going to get rid of this. Just click it and delete. Now that here are the two things. Click this one, or whichever one first. Control click, delete. Now we're just left with the base one. This is already configured because she's already configured all the stuff. If you want to play around with it though, you're completely up to it. It's completely fine. Like if you want to like change how it looks on the ground, you can. I preferably like doing things like turning it around. It's a bit hard to do. And when it reaches the bottom. So I prefer doing it like this because it just looks better. But you can do it however you want. And then the GUI and then the actual GUI menu. Like when you actually play Minecraft, this is how it will look in the menu. So that's in the display tab here. That's better. And the paint tab is how you change the texture. Now this is the main part we're going to be doing. I will make another tutorial just on regular like Blockbench stuff, maybe. But this is just editing textures of currently made ones right now, so we don't want a complete copy of this, of her weapon. I'm sorry if I got that wrong. Anyway, so we're going to change this completely. So first of all, it may be a little bit advanced, but I'll see if I can get this to you. See how there's different shades of color here? Like there's a large shade of, like a lighter color here and some light colors here representing grooves and like parts that actually come out, we're basically going to represent that with whatever color we pick. So let's say we want this to be an aquary green. Here's the exact color if you want to paste that in, because you can just Control C, Control V. Ooh, okay. There's a rookie mistake there. I just got rid of it. Okay, this is the real one. So you copy it, Control C, and say you just delete whatever's there, and then Control V, and you got it. So this is a light color. So with all the light spots, we are going to fill those in. So of course, I've changed a lot more, like these patterns in the middle don't exist with my one, but this is just an example, and technically this would work as well. It'd be a bit scummy though, so probably don't try it. Like, if you're actually going to make a public one, you probably don't want to be as scummy as that. But now we're going to make it a little bit lighter for the middle strip here, because you basically want to match the lightness with whatever color scheme you're going with. So this is going to stay at the same lightness, or kind of the same lightness. Yeah, green's not the best color for this because it's kind of hard to determine what it looks like sometimes. But we're just going with it because it's easy, like, it's just there, you know? Like, all the other colors would look kind of weird. Literally, he's saying that. Literally any other color would look better. Okay, let's just keep going. So, what I mean by match the colors lightness is, you see this dark patch here? So, to represent that, we're going to make this darker. So this is a bit lighter. So this is trying to represent the same darkness, but a different color, which makes way more sense than my other one. Now this is slightly, these are the same. Now you see we've made a problem here. This is supposed to go down. It's not a huge problem, but if you do end up making a problem, you may not see the control, redo, or any of these up here, and you may be starting to freak out. With that, you can click these three dots up the toolbar and click Customize, and you can search up redo or undo. They won't appear for me because I've already put them in, and they'll appear like this. And you can, so imagine this is undo. You can click this and it will pop up the top. So I made a mistake there. Undo. Note that however much you do, like if I were to hold my mouse button and just do and absolutely make a mess of this and let go, if I realize I didn't like it like that and I press undo, it would undo the entire thing, because the undo save point is whenever you release your mouse button. So if I do this, I'm holding my mouse, but if I release it and then click undo, it gets rid of all of that. So if I do this, let go of my mouse, and then do this, and then let go of my mouse, that'll go, and then the next undo will make that go. If that makes sense. Anyways, so this. that's just the blade. I mean, if you want, you can do the same thing with all of this stuff and just make it all the same if you want. But there are some things that are best left the way they are. So like, with the handle here, it's a very good idea to keep this as wood. No matter what you make this or this, it's a good idea to make it as some kind of wood. Because it just makes sense. And this, it makes sense to keep this, and this the same kind of thing, the same kind of material. So the pommel, the hand divider, or whatever you call that, and this guard should be made out of the same material, and the blade should all be made out of the same material, unless you're going for something that actually on purposely looks a bit different. Now, as for the models themselves, you can shrink them to how you like. So like if you want the edge to just cut off like this, you can do that. I don't though. I want it to just go down a little bit. So it just looks a little bit cleaner. But you got to be careful when modifying this, because the texture, as you can see, does not change size when you change this size. So keep that in mind. So if you change something too much, like if you want to make this way bigger or something, the texture is still going to be the small one, so it's going to be it's just going to look weird. So don't modify the model too much. But like thickness wise, you could like make it thicker and it doesn't really matter. Anyway, here is our lovely model. Yeah, green doesn't exactly look the best, but we made a decent one. Like, this is better than some models and some modelers I know. Sorry, Glitchy. It had to be done. It had to be said. So yeah, that's how you use someone else's model but change the texture. Me personally, I'm not going to say this because green just doesn't fit what I'm doing, and I've already got multiple copies of this. I've got this, which is already a copy. I've got this, which is already a copy, except I've added some bits at the bottom here, which just make it look better. And I've changed the middle bit, so you can kind of you can think of this as just like a template for whatever you want it to be. So this is just a template. You can do whatever you want with it. Just make sure that you make it look like a sword. Otherwise, it just kind of will fall apart a bit. But yeah, I've got a lot of copies of this, and this one is one that I made myself. Hold on, let me fix the texture real quick. I did put all the chains. Phew. This is a big model, 87 cubes in this one thing. It's because of all these chains. Why are they all chain one? Whatever. Texture. So steel. Scythe. Wait, if it's all just Soul Steel Scythe, I can just do this. Soul Steel Scythe. And then this. Soul Steel Scythe detail. So this one I have made myself because, I mean, it looks nice. It genuinely looks nice. It's a bit hard to see though because the background's black. Yeah, let me help you with that. Just putting up something so you can actually tell the difference between the color. So, this is what it looks like. It's a little bit dark, but the darkness changes depending on the lighting in Minecraft as well, so it won't just be super dark. It also has an animated texture as well, which is way too fast. I tried to make the texture look like it's spinning around like an engine as much as possible. And yeah, this is just another example. So it's completely up to you if you want to use a different person's model. But if you just can't think of anything and it's just nothing's popping up in your head, then it's a good idea to use someone else's model. But if you can think of stuff like this, go ahead and do it. Because, I mean, it looks nice. Yeah. Just watch out for stuff like that, if you'd make it yourself. Anyway. That looks okay, I suppose, but I think I need to make this a bit longer. Anyway, we'll save this because we have actually... Oh, okay, that's not what I wanted to save. Save model. So, if you enjoyed this tutorial, please hit the like button. Anyway, I think that's going to do it for this tutorial. I'll make some more on animated textures, definitely, and I'll make one on making your own models as well. But anyways, that will do for this video.